Sunday's Gospel's the 30th Sunday in Ordinary Time, and Jesus told this parable to those who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and looked with contempt on others. Two men went up to the temple to pray. One was a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood apart, and he said, "God, I thank you that I am not like these other people who are rogues, thieves and adulterers, even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week and I give 1/10 of my income." The tax collector, he stood way back and would not look up into heaven, and beating his breast said, "God, be merciful to me, the sinner." I tell you, this man went down home justified rather than the other. For all who humble themselves will be exalted, and those who exalt themselves will be humbled. I once walked up those temple steps in Jerusalem, and there are so many of them, double the number in the opera house, and the temple is like a cathedral the size of a football field, and totally dominated the city of Jerusalem. And that's why the story, I suppose, presumes there's two men went up and he came down. Before God, we're all equal. God doesn't judge us. God is love. I imagine this tax collector found refuge in God in a way that there was no other place of refuge. He would have been totally despised, hated, an outsider. God's bigger than all that, and God gave him the freedom to acknowledge who he was. He didn't have to defend himself. Being a sinner, I need to be forgiven. And my failure to love, my failure to walk in his presence. The Pharisee is almost like a parody of someone, but I find it a disturbing image because deep down it's, in an unconscious way, it's who I am, who we are. Always intent on doing things and doing the right thing and so forth. Not realizing that being in a right relationship with God, and that's what righteousness is, having a right relationship. We know what it means. Not when we have a relationship with someone, we know when things are not right. Things are not a relation, and the deepest moments in our relationships with others are when we are mutually when we need forgiveness from the other, when we acknowledge our failure to love one another. And it's not all the things we do for one another. They can even be barriers to a relationship, protect us. story asks us to look at what's unconscious in the unconscious attitudes that we have, particularly towards those who are thieves. Someone once said to me, I don't thieve all the time. Adulterers and murderers and don't think we're not like them.